I just saw a video of Detroit from a time span, a time lapse, from how it used to look to how it looks now, right? It was great, beautiful country, right? Great, beautiful country. And now, like, there's buildings everywhere, and, like, the environment is sort of like, it's fighting to be alive again, right? And I think, like, when you have all these plastic structures, these, ceramic structures, these, somatic structures, I think, like, this messes with the weather. Because there's places where you can go in the country parts of certain states, right? And you can see just blue skies. You don't see any clouds. And I think that comes from, it not being any erected structures that's like on the soil, because you need the soil to even the top, right? You need the soil. And if something's sitting on the soil, then that's a violation of Newton's law, right? As above, so below. And like most of these structures, like, they're antiquated, right? This is why you don't see structures from the 1400s around in America, right? As if there were, right? But I think America, it looked like how Africa did at one point. You know what I mean? That's not even nothing to think about, but, I think it was that way, right? When you look at how Burkina Faso looks and stuff like that. I think America looked like that, right? But again, like, I was just thinking, like, they could use these news stations to, like, say, broadcast every second, like, and put it on a time span, right? Just like, oh, this tree is going to grow this month in your area. You need to know what it does. Like, you need apps to know whether or not a plant is edible. Like, they should be broadcasting this stuff on ABC, CBS. You see what I'm saying? WGN, Comcast. They should be doing this, and they don't do it, man. They don't do it. And that right there, like, it bothers me, man. It's like you can see them completely destroying artificial intelligence. They're destroying it. ChatGPT, they're destroying it. It's like you can have honeysuckle plants, you can have rose plants, you can have dandelion plants, and, like, people wouldn't even know, like, if this stuff is edible. You know what I mean? Because, like, your town commissioner, like, Chicago, Detroit, they don't say whether or not, but I noticed, like, when I was in Chicago growing up, like, I knew, like, even early, right? Because my cousin, he knew about this. Like, we used to go in the backyard on Wentworth, I think it was by 43rd. And we used to go back there in the alleyway, and used to be berries growing on the fence. And we would pick the berries off the fence and eat it. You know what I mean? Like, I think, like, when you see stuff like that, man, you notice, like, people actually, they know, like, what to eat and what not to eat. I think, that's pretty cool. And this is, like, right before I left, like, in the 90s. We used to go back there, play baseball. After we get done, we'll pick the berries off the tree and eat them. You know what I mean? So I think that's cool. You know what I mean? I think that's cool. But you can kind of see the suppression, right, between the news officers. They don't report on stuff like that. Like, like, instead of just giving us 24 hours negativity, right? Like, show us, like, what foods are edible, what foods will grow in this temperature, what foods will grow in that temperature. You know what I mean? And, like, it could be a good thing, but they don't capitalize off that type of stuff. I think they just want to sell, mayhem. You know what I mean? I think they want to sell mayhem. What can you do about it, Great peace, Yakoki. Africa forever. Africa on one. May Africa be your pastime.